Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. Paige did it at a coworker happy hour, loud enough for the whole rooftop to hear. She clinked her glass and grinned at the table. You know what would improve Dean? A little chaos. He's like a user manual with legs. Chuckles all around. Then she tapped my chest with her nail. Come on, show them you have a pulse. I set down my club soda and looked at her hand. Don't do that. Oh, relax. I'm teasing. She faced Carla from HR. He needs a jolt. He freezes if a napkin's crooked. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't crack a smile either. Paige, knock off the jokes at my expense. Last warning. You want a partner, not a target. If you want a target, pick another man. I'm not volunteering. The table went quiet. Carla cleared her throat. Nate, my project engineer, glanced at the city lights like they might help. Paige tilted her head. See? This is why I do it. That look. There's a person in there. There's a boundary in here, I answered, standing. We're done for tonight. You can ride with Ava or get a rideshare. I'm taking my car and my piece. She blinked. You're leaving me? I'm leaving the behavior. I nodded to the table. Folks, enjoy the view. If I'd known where this was headed, I would have left before she finished her first joke. But I stayed long enough to make that line stick. At home, she washed a wine glass that didn't need washing. You embarrassed me, she said to the sink. You tried to entertain your audience by poking me, I replied, leaning on the island. That's not entertainment. That's disrespect. It was just banter. It was a test, I said. And since we're testing, here are new rules. No digs at me in public. No eye rolls when I explain something. If you start, I end the conversation. If you push, I leave the room or the place. No drama, just exit. She turned, towel in hand. So now you're issuing rules. I'm setting terms for my presence, I said. I don't owe you my face while you swing at it for sport. Sport? You think I enjoy this? She laughed without humor. You're the one who's numb all the time. I'm trying to get you to feel. Try a conversation, I said. Not a stage. Maybe if you weren't so controlled. Control keeps my job, my home, and my blood pressure intact. If you need chaos, go to a concert. If you need combustion, buy a grill. I won't be your volatility. She looked past me at the calendar on the fridge. We have game night at Emma's on Saturday. You're coming. I'm not, I answered. Text them and say something came up. I'm not showing up for scenes. You can't just cancel on our friends. I'm canceling on my own humiliation, I said. Different category. She folded the towel with sharp little movements. So this is you punishing me. This is me removing myself from a place where I'm the punchline. You're overreacting. Then it won't bother you if I skip. She stared, jaw set. You're still going to the neighborhood barbecue Sunday. I'll go if you keep it respectful. One wrong shot, I'm gone. Who decides what's wrong? She narrowed her eyes. The person getting hit, I said. She smirked. What if I need a little heat, Dean? What then? You can ask. You can say you're bored or restless. But if your method is to make me flare, you'll see less of me, not more. She tapped the counter twice. We'll see. Right, I said. We will. Microcliff. While she pretended to scroll, a text bubbled from her sister Ava. So? Did he crack? Paige arched an eyebrow at me and angled the phone away. Tell her, I said, heading to the garage. The show is canceled. 2 days later, she slid next to me on the bleachers at our YMCA charity day, eyes soft, voice down. About the other night. I went too far. I know you hate public needling. I kept my arms folded. Kids sprinted drills on the court. Carla sat a few rows down, clipboard resting on her knee. It was cheap, she said. I'm sorry. I watched a boy trip and pop back up. Okay. She searched my face. That's all you've got. I heard you, I said. Thank you. She tucked a strand behind her ear. You look good in this setting, you know. Calm. Competent. Her hand grazed my sleeve. We're a good team when you're not. Retreating. Team works both ways. I nodded toward Carla. And it starts with not recruiting an audience. Paige offered a small smile. Noted. She squeezed my arm. Coffee after this? My treat. Fine, I said, just to show I wasn't made of concrete. On the way out, she drifted toward Carla. See? I can be nice, she joked, but it had a thin edge. Carla looked between us, diplomatic. In the parking lot, Paige dangled my keys. You're driving. I want to sit and stare out the window like a teenager. I brought my work truck, I said. I'm heading straight to the site. You can take your car. Or ride with Ava. She blinked at both vehicles. You split up on purpose? I keep my independence on purpose, I said. Less room for theatrics when there's no captive audience in a passenger seat. She clicked her tongue, then leaned in. I'll make dinner. Your favorite. We can reset tonight. All right. That night, she plated roasted chicken like a cooking show judge, candles lit, music low. Truce? She asked, tapping her glass to my water. Truce, I said, and meant it for the length of the meal. We sat on the couch. I hate fighting, she murmured. Don't start then, I replied. She rested her head lightly on my shoulder. I miss us. Then choose us over sparks. She nodded, quiet. The next morning, I waited outside the tire shop where she said she'd pick me up at 8. At 8:30, no text. At 9, a message finally came. Got caught up talking to Emma. You good? No apology. Just floating the idea that my time had no weight. At lunch, my phone buzzed with a story she posted, a selfie with a caption, life with a spreadsheet, winky face. Comments popped. Liven him up, girl. She liked them all. We met that evening at home. That post, I said, setting my phone on the counter. It was a joke, she replied, rinsing a bowl. It was the same act in pixels. Fine, here's my act. I slid a folder onto the island. New budget. Separate accounts for discretionary stuff. We split essentials down the middle. If you want to liven me up, do it with your own card. She frowned. You're dramatizing. We share. We share the mortgage and utilities, I said. The rest, your call, your funds. Same for me. So I can't plan a weekend away without a committee meeting? She stared. You can plan anything you want, I said. And you can fund it. I'm not paying for tests. She laughed once. Dean the banker. Dean the adult, I corrected. She leaned on her palms. You won't keep this up. I will, I said, because I'm done negotiating respect. She exhaled through her nose. We'll see. Right, I said. We will. Microcliff. She texted Emma while still facing me. He's on a power trip, then turned the phone screen down like cards in a gambler's palm. The week after, I burned out. Not theatrically, just a quiet power down. She tried her usual switchboard routine. Mute, provoke, flirt, snip, circle back, and none of it landed. I got home late Monday and set my lunch container in the sink. She was already in the kitchen, arms crossed. You ignore me now, she started. I don't engage with nonsense, I replied, pouring water. Nonsense? I asked if you'd call the plumber. I scheduled him for Friday. You didn't hear because you prefer volume to sentences. Cute, she said. You think you're above feelings. I'm above fighting for your entertainment, I said. Here's my plan. I move to the guest room for now. I wake at 5. I run. I go to work. If you need something practical, text me. If you want sparks, buy a lighter. You can't just move out of our bed. I just did. I placed a spare key on the counter. And I'm not going to your friend's dinner Thursday. I'll be at Kevin's garage. I promised I'd help with his shelves. She stepped closer. Kevin's? So you'll sit with men and pretend you know tools. I'll build the shelves, and I'll enjoy a night without performance reviews. You're cold, she said. I'm calm, I answered. She jabbed. Maybe if you showed some passion, I wouldn't have to wake you up in public. You don't have to do anything, I said. You choose it. On Thursday, I was at Kevin's. He's an old friend from the firehouse, speaks in short lines like my father did. His wife Angela drifted in and out with lemonade and the kind of look that says she's heard enough stories to recognize one on sight. Paige showed up unannounced, heels clicking on concrete. There you are. She spread her hands. He hides in garages now. Adorable. Kevin wiped his hands. Evening, Paige. We were expecting him at Emma's, she said, scanning the shelves. Dean, you can't exile yourself. I'm not exiled, I said, measuring a board. I'm busy. This is what I mean, she told Kevin. He goes robotic. I push, he shuts down. Maybe stop pushing, Kevin said, plain as a hammer. She ignored him. Dean, will you come with me? Now. No, I said, sliding the board through the saw. Angela met Paige's eyes. It's his time. Paige laughed tight. Of course you all take his side. There aren't sides, Kevin replied. There are choices. She whirled on me. You're choosing smallness. I'm choosing peace. She stared, shaken by the room's refusal to fuel her. Fine. Stew in your peace. I finished the cut, dust floating around the shop light. Drive safe. She left, car tires whispering down the street. Saturday morning, I found a manila envelope on our kitchen table. You win, her note said. Here, maybe you need the threat to feel something. Divorce papers, copied off some legal site, signatures blank. I made coffee. I read every line. I took a pen from the junk drawer and signed where my name belonged. When she walked in, hair up, eyes bright, she saw the papers and stopped. Wait, what are you doing? What you wanted, I said. No, she laughed in a high pitch. It was a joke. It was, Dean, I'm showing you how serious I am about your shutdown. You're showing me that my peace threatens your hobby. I said. I'm not playing. She grabbed my wrist. Hold on. You can't just sign. That's not how this works. It is now. I answered, sliding the file back to her. Too late. Her mouth opened like she'd lost a line. I didn't mean it. I wanted you to react. Not this. You wanted a bigger flame, I said. Consider it extinguished. Stop. Don't do this, she said, voice cracking. I'm doing it, I replied. And I'm packing a bag. I'll stay at a place closer to the job site for a while. You'll have space to decide if you want real marriage, not sparring. I love you, she blurted. I chuckled, not unkindly, not kindly either. Where exactly do you love me, Paige? In the comments under your jokes? On rooftops with an audience? Love doesn't look like a daily stress test. She swiped at her eyes. You can't mean this. I do. I took my overnight bag from the closet and started filling it with shirts. We'll handle the paperwork properly. She chased me down the hall. Please, just talk to me. I've talked. I set rules. You wanted fireworks. I zipped the bag. Too late. I walked past her to the garage. Microcliff. As the door clicked behind me, her voice shifted, low, persuasive. Come back tonight. I'll make it right. I promise. I didn't answer. Her counteroffensive started the next day at my office. She arrived with a paper bag that smelled like hot sandwiches and a smile you could hang a poster on. Lunch? She asked, stepping into the break room like we were dating. Carla was there, stirring tea. She raised a brow. Paige laid out napkins. I've been thinking, Dean. You're right. I spin things up. I don't want to spin. Let's reset. I'll support your schedule. I'll stop with the digs. Clean slate. Appreciate the sentiment, I said. I'm still out of the house. She pushed the bag closer. Eat. I've got a meeting, I replied. You can be 5 minutes late, she said. I'm not going to be late. She smiled at Carla. See? He's very by the book. Carla sipped and said nothing. Paige tried again. I'll go to counseling. I'll do the reading, the exercises, all of it. I asked for a simple thing, I said. Respect. You turned it into a game with props. You brought paperwork to the kitchen table to see if I'd flinch. I didn't. I miscalculated. You engineered chaos, I said. I'm uninterested. I'll change. You'll change until you're bored, I said. Then you'll poke. I'm not curious to see when. Carla glanced at her watch like she had somewhere else to be. Paige lowered her voice. I miss my husband. I stood. Then you should have treated him like one. I nodded to Carla. See you at 3. That night, she was waiting outside my apartment building. A photo album balanced on her knee. Don't do this in front of neighbors, I said, stopping a few feet away. I brought our pictures. First trip. First place. Look, she opened to a page with our goofy smiles over a burnt casserole we tried to fix with hot sauce. We can be those people again. We can be older versions of those people, I said. Older people don't pick fights for fun. Come upstairs, she said. Let me show you I'm serious. No. She swallowed. You're really shutting the door. Yes. I'll wait down here, she said, desperate last card. All night. You won't, I said. Security will ask you to move. Don't do that to yourself. She gathered the album, jaw tight. You'll regret this, Dean. I'll risk it. She left with a glare meant to land later. Microcliff. My phone buzzed after midnight. I left soup at your door. I didn't open it. My last trip to the house was logistics. I'd booked movers for Saturday, called the storage unit, lined up a friend with a pickup for the few pieces I didn't trust to strangers. Adult steps. No scenes. She paced the living room as I labeled boxes. This is happening, she said like a news anchor who didn't believe her teleprompter. It is, I answered. You're really choosing emptiness over us. I'm choosing still water over turbulence for sport. She crossed her arms. Say you'll reconsider. Say it, and I'll stop. I'll stop everything. You'll stop until you want a hit of drama, I said. We both know your pattern. She planted herself in the doorway. I won't let you take the desk. It's mine, I said, nodding to the receipt I'd printed and taped to the back. Bought it before we married. You kept a receipt? She scoffed. Of course you did. I kept order, I said. That's what bothered you. The movers arrived, two guys in blue shirts who minded their own business. Kevin pulled up behind them with his pickup. He walked in, took one look, and nodded. Let's load. Paige looked past me to Kevin. You're helping him bail? I'm helping him move, Kevin said. A doer's job. She turned back to me. If you leave, you kill any chance. I'm not bargaining with dignity, I said. Step aside. She didn't move. Make me. Kevin scratched his jaw. Paige. She stepped away with a huff, then hovered next to the boxes. Fine. Take your life. See how it feels without color. It already feels quiet. That's enough. She watched as the couch shifted up and through the door. You'll get lonely. I'll get rest. She pointed at the envelope on the console. Then finish what you started. File the papers. Own it. I will, I said, picking up the envelope. By the book. She laughed hard. You can't even say the word. You're afraid of it. I'm careful with what I speak into my life, I answered. Words matter. You're a stone, she said. No wonder I had to shake you. You had to choose me, I said. You kept choosing a reaction. The last box went out. I set my keys on the table. She looked at them like they were a confession. So that's it, she asked. That's it. I took a breath that wasn't dramatic, just necessary. Where do you love me, Paige? In the noise? In the mess? Because I never saw it in the daily hits. I saw a woman fishing for a fire and calling it connection. I'm not your spark plug. Don't walk out, she said, voice shaking. I'm not walking out, I said. I'm walking on. I nodded at the envelope. We'll handle everything properly. No scenes, just signatures. Dean, she whispered. Please. Too late, I said, picking up the last bag. By the book. I walked to the door. She followed a step and then stopped, like her feet found the line I'd drawn months back. You're not even angry, she said to my shoulders. I replied. Then I got tired. I reached for the doorknob. I'm done being your proof of life. I stepped into the afternoon, the movers already strapping furniture. Kevin met my eyes. You good? I'm good, I said. He nodded once. Let's roll. I rented a place on the east side, a 15-minute drive from the job site, with windows that faced morning sun and a small balcony big enough for a chair and a stubborn fern. The lease hurt our budget. The quiet healed everything else. I set up the desk by the window, put the tools on a shelf that didn't wobble, and started sleeping like the clock respected me. We did the paperwork the usual way. No theater, no speeches. We split things evenly and moved on. When folks asked, I said it was mutual. There was nothing to win by telling them about rooftop jokes and kitchen tests. I stopped filling my weekends with noise. I ran earlier. I cooked basic meals. I took the long way home when the freeway backed up, radio off, mind clear. Kevin came by a few times to help hang a heavy mirror, or just to sit on the balcony and look at nothing. Angela sent a casserole once with a note that said, "For sturdy mornings." I appreciated the accuracy. Paige sent a few messages in the first month, soft ones, then sharper ones. I kept it respectful and brief. I didn't let her in. She tried one last gesture, a long apology written at 2 in the morning. I didn't reply. It wasn't punishment. It was a boundary that finally stayed put. I'm not in a rush to start anything new. I'm enjoying the stillness and the space. The part of me that used to scan a room for the next jab now scans grocery aisles for decent tomatoes and the laundromat schedule for empty machines. That's the temperature I run at. Calm is not empty. Calm is earned. If you're waiting for a twist where I take it back, you'll be waiting a long time. There's no twist. Just a man who stopped feeding a fire that could burn forever and called it what it was, waste. I didn't win some big prize. I just walked out with my self-respect, a decent lease, a better route to work,